Okay, hello everyone. This is the Mansfield Economic Development Commission reporting for its monthly meeting on Thursday, October 16th. In attendance is myself, Dwight Coder Chair, Nancy McKenney, Valessa Suter Klein, Lane Watson, Steve is it Farino?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Farino and Brian Coleman. I never knew how much the G factors in. Um, uh, the first thing we're going to do tonight is approve the minutes for our last meeting. I did have a chance to look over them. They looked okay to me. Does anyone have any recommendations for changes or amendments to the last month's meeting? Brian, did you have a comment there?
No, I'll make the motion if you want.
Oh, great, wonderful.
Okay,
A
you
second?
ready? Anybody have any objections to minutes? All right.
Any
I move to
discussion?
approve the minutes of the Mansfield Economic Commission for September 18th, 2025.
Could we get a second?
Second.
Valessa seconds, and all in favor? Okay, great. Moving on to our next item is opportunity for public comment. I don't think we have anyone here, and I have not received anything. Steve, nothing from you?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. And then I guess I flipped those two. I guess we're supposed to do public comment first. And then we would normally have updates, but Steve has an obligation tonight to the Mansfield Local Government Academy. So we are going to just bypass updates unless anyone would like to report anything in particular. We have a few items for discussion, so I think that's okay if we skip those this month. Steve, is there anything in particular that you think it's important to just share today in either of in any of the three categories of staffing, business, or housing updates?
I don't have anything in particular. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I figured I'd just be here for a few minutes in case anyone had a question, but
Okay.
nothing urgent or critical. Oh, actually, I will say, just for the record, Mountain Dairy Creamery is having their grand opening tomorrow. So we're
Oh,
real excited. We know that was something that was on the we heard about kind of through the grapevine a couple weeks ago, and then we just found out a couple days ago that it'll be this Friday. So
excellent. And where is that? I don't know much about
it's
that. What's going on?
on Browns Road.
Oh,
It's the
it's
old
at
Red
the.
Barn Creamery, which I
Oh,
guess
okay.
they painted white now. And so it's they're going to be producing their own ice cream and selling it on site, which is
Fabulous.
fantastic. I guess as I understand, Mountain Dairy is one of 19 producer operators in the country that
Wow.
produces their own milk and then sells it. It's a very uncommon practice nowadays, so we're very fortunate to have them here in Mansfield.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Brian?
I attended a Bruce John show down at Cousin Jimmy's. Cousin Jimmy Pizza is on Stafford Road. Just opened. It was open up previously as the Poorhouse, and it had many other names, hooligans along the way. I
Club
can't remember, Club
32.
32. Yeah, it's been an icon in town for a while under different names, and the pizza is fabulous.
Great.
It's brick oven pizza, you know, kind of a New Haven style pizza. I recommend it.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it. We should try to get the word out, support them. Okay, then, if there are no further updates, we will move on to our three discussion items. Updating the plan of conservation and development, discussion about the Taste of Mansfield, and time permitting, public outreach and commission members. Steve, if you want to bow out at this point, we'll see you later. And then when we're done here, I think the recording will just stop when we're all
Yep,
logged out.
it'll
So,
be all set. So
sure.
go until you're done, and then I'll take care of it after that. Thank you guys very much.
Yep. Thanks, Steve. I don't know if you had a chance to look over the Plan of Conservation and Development, Chapter 6, proposals and action items. If I could just take a quick minute to kind of recap that, just kind of what the structure of that document. It appeared to us originally as a Excel sheet, and it was then kind of converted into a Word document so that we could kind of manage it a little bit better. And Steve shared it today with us as a PDF. I'm going to return to the Word document so that I can work on it while we're discussing today. But I want to start with just I'm an educator, so I default to a PowerPoint when I'm kind of organizing a conversation. So just to quickly remind you, Chapter 6 is the chapter of the Plan of Conservation and Development that deals most explicitly with with economic development issues. And it's basically broken into 4 component parts. Um, Parts 6.1, 2, 3, and 4. And those 4 areas are listed here as they appear on the document. Number 1 is Mansfield aims for balanced economic development efforts to make it an attractive location for businesses, workers, and residents. Number 2, Mansfield seeks to encourage an entrepreneurial environment that supports business formation, expansion, and retention. Part 3, Mansfield seeks to grow and diversify its economy to ensure it can provide high quality services to its residents, support its businesses, and work synergistically with the University of Connecticut to create a resilient economic ecosystem. And finally, Mansfield values its vibrant creative economy and looks to support artists' performances, cultural enterprises, and innovation. And this might look a little bit different from what you looked at earlier today. I've made some small edits. Under 6.1, balanced economic development, are 3 subheadings, each of which have multiple subheadings within them. But again, just to kind of refresh your memory, A is promote local businesses and celebrate their success, connect to businesses with information and resources, and when appropriate, emphasize the importance of agriculture and forestry to economic development and town identity, and promote local agriculture for municipal activities and initiatives. 6.2 entails ensuring that Mansfield has sufficient resources and capacity for economic development, establishing a business retention and expansion program, and supporting policies and practices that reduce barriers to business growth. 6.3, growing and diversifying its economy to provide services and to work with UConn entails collaborating with surrounding communities to generate mutually beneficial economic activity. And I should mention that I have actually an email out right now with the Wyndham Economic Development Commission to see if they want to have a joint session with us. Collaborate with UConn to maximize local economic benefits and promote Mansfield as a tourism destination. And then 6.4 is rather straightforward. It's basically supporting creative entrepreneurs and cultural industries. Now, as you may recall, there are sorry, one moment. There are a variety of subpoints within each of those categories, and the objective of our discussion today will be to go through that document and highlight under each of the 4 categories at least one, and perhaps 2, in some cases, high priority items in terms of economic development importance, and then a second priority item, but maybe not high priority item. So in other words, we want to make sure that each of the 3 subsections has some representation in our list of priorities. Does that make sense? So I'm going to just open one other document here, and I'll just put it up here so we can kind of look at it and work with it as we go. So as I mentioned, I've made some kind of smaller edits at this point, just so that we can, so we're not kind of distracted by a lot of in-text commentary. And I know also that, number of these subpoints overlap with one another, and there are elements of 6.1 that are also in 6.2. So, we can bear that in mind. But without talking the entire time, maybe I'll just sort of pause here and ask for folks to chime in. We can either go through this systematically, looking at each subsection, or people can just throw out things that they believed to be particularly important. This is 6.1 sub A, and then there are 8 subpoints. Actually, there were 7. I've added one question, which is about whether it's important from an economic development standpoint to think about or have some action relating to affordable housing. We can discuss that or omit it. Any thoughts? Turn it over to the committee now to discuss. And like I said, I can scroll down if you want to look at other portions of the document. This is 6.1B, 6.1C. And if you want to just take a moment to refresh yourself or look at the document as Steve sent it out, you're please welcome to do so.
I saw something in there about outreach to artists, or it was mentioned.
Outreach to artists, you say?
Yes, I
Well,
think it was.
So that 6.4? Is
That's
that the
right, that's
section that
correct,
you're
yeah.
thinking of?
Am I
Yeah.
jumping ahead on you?
No. Like I said, I'm happy to
Okay,
go in
yeah.
whatever. This is
Yeah.
this is great. This is great. We can certainly
Yeah.
so under this. So one of the reasons that Steve wanted us to kind of look at this is because it's kind of a lot to take on in any sort of systematic way. So the thinking was, are there some things here that are particularly important if we think about, say, a 5 or 10-year timeline to stress or really devote our energy to? Is there do any of these 5 subpoints, Brian, stand out to you as kind of maybe the first step or the most important step for the town to consider when fostering a creative economy?
I think people, I don't want to be micro here because there's so much more other things involved, but
Yeah,
I think, people tend to forget that artists are businesses too,
yeah,
and they work
absolutely.
hard and they need support. Some of them that I talk to feel left out,
Yeah.
and I see that.
So do you
They
think,
have
go ahead, I'm sorry.
November is open studio month. I don't know
Yep.
if either us, the Economic Development Commission can reach out to artists, promote the open studio month. I haven't seen that in the past. I generally go to every artist, and no, it's going to be I think the last 2 weeks of November usually is open studio month,
Hmm.
and most of our artists participate, but maybe they would like to hear from us in some way, or maybe we
Yeah.
can support them some way. That's
Yeah,
right
I
around
think
the
that's
corner.
great. Yeah, I think they do it late October, obviously in coordination with the holidays, kind of to,
Yeah.
as part of the kind of buy local thinking. Um, so that level of granularity, I think I mean, I think it helps us to remember that those things exist because so if let's say that's an important initiative for you, do one of these 5 subpoints stand out as where you would kind of classify something like that? I mean, it seems like number one, right, which is develop a creative economy strategy, would basically be to, you know, at some level, formulate a master plan for cultivating these kinds of resources and both human and non-human. Um, so maybe number one is the first step, right? Is to develop a strategy, and that strategy might entail, per your point, Brian, something like more aggressive promotion of the open studio period of time or something like that.
Yeah, and then number 4 is actually promote Mansfield as regional destination for arts and culture.
Okay.
That would be it was fit right in that slot as well.
Okay, great. How do others feel? So it seems like right now we have a vote for develop a creative economy strategy and or promote Mansfield as a regional destination for arts and culture. Do those seem like the most important elements of supporting our creative entrepreneurs and cultural industries?
I can't say it's the most important, but it's certainly one of the most neglected.
Yeah. The
You know,
promotion or the creative economy strategy element,
the promotion of it.
the promotion element.
Yeah. I can't I really can't line up priorities on what we're doing here because everything is important to me,
Yes. Yeah, I
equally.
understand.
But this one seems to be fly under the radar all the time, in my opinion.
I
Got it.
mean,
So yeah,
can I
Nancy.
ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
So like with the arts, So do they go down to the square, like for Mansfield Festival Day, and are they invited to go there, or can they put their booths up? And even like when they do, I mean, wouldn't it be great if those kind of things were when when the concerts in the park
Yep.
in the
Yep.
summertime, like, and the artists and local vendors that create their own art and those kind of things, like set up almost like pop-up shops
Yeah. Yeah.
down there.
So,
That
so
would be
that to
nice.
me,
I think it would draw more people.
yeah. I think Steve has been very vigilant about that in particular, Nancy. I think he's had some meetings with people in the School of Fine Arts to try and encourage UConn students, for example, to make better and more extensive use of the square. And I think what you're talking about would maybe fall under number two, which is encourage, and I added and facilitate the adaptive reuse of underutilized properties for creative and cultural uses such as studios, galleries, rehearsal spaces, and performance venues. Prioritize sites in downtown stores, Northwest Mansfield and Southern Mansfield for creative reuse and live work development opportunities. I mean, is that kind of what you're talking about, Nancy? Because I think that's
Yeah,
important as well.
I think it's good. Yeah, to definitely encourage. I mean,
Yep.
you can reach out to them all you want. Whether they choose to participate is totally up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But then also the flip side of it, also the advertising part of it, so that people in town and out
Know
of
about
town
it.
know about it. Because it's all fine and dandy if they're there, but if nobody knows that they're there,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
I
I
think
mean,
that's great.
you
Yeah.
know, do it with like the open studio and Small Business Saturday, and you
Yeah.
know, the whole map. And I think that's a great idea.
I
But
love the way
again,
that
people coming.
yeah, that comment really synergizes, I think, with Brian's point about, the value of promotion, that, if we build it, they won't come unless they know that we've built it, right? So
Correct.
we need to let them know as well as building it. So I really like, maybe prioritizing both two and four as kind of intertwined elements of any, creative economic strategy.
I think
Elaine,
5 as well.
5-2.
Well, because
Yeah.
that's, you know, integrating the arts into the community and the projects that we're doing,
Yeah,
or the town is doing, right?
yeah, yeah. I think here what number five, that what maybe is being referenced here under number five are things like installation of art objects like sculptures and
Oh,
things like that, rather than like individual artist producers doing performance. But I agree that it's very important as well. And so when we say build a school, we want to make sure that there's space for art and culture in those spaces.
mm-hmm.
There has been discussion, um, been on this commission for 4 years, and there's been discussion of actually trying to organize an art show and in the downtown. And
Yeah,
I know I met with the Arts Advisory Committee on that a few years back. There was some interest in that. I actually toured the Whitford Art Show and the Mystic Connecticut Art, Whitford, Rhode Island, and the Mystic Art Show down in
yeah,
Mystic, Connecticut. And you get a list of artists that you literally can call and invite to your art show,
right,
and they're from
right.
all over. They're from all over the country. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so that's what they do in Whitford. I thought it's a fantastic idea. We just haven't seemed to organize any type of art show for the downtown. I'm still interested in that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, let me make a suggestion. I'm going to highlight a couple of things here. And nothing about this is binding. And as I've mentioned, I mean, with all of these things, when if we were to do an art show, it's going to involve, more than just these two action items. This is really just about saying, this is where we kind of want to put the majority of our efforts and what we want to prioritize. But I agree. It sounds to me like two and 4 are relevant, and 5 insofar as just the general promotion of more artistic activity in town. Valessa, go ahead and set us right.
No, I didn't want to redirect. Ash, I'm on a call. I didn't want to redirect the conversation.
The public is invited. The public is invited here.
The public is very present. But I was just going to ask Brian when finish this thought, but then whatever happened with the cultural district stuff that was moving forward last year?
I would have to defer to Steve to answer that. I think that I mean, it's approved. I mean, we voted for it. We agreed to do it. Where things are in the pipeline, I'm not really sure. I don't know what the next steps are. But I'll make a note of it and we'll have Steve report on that at the next EDC.
I don't know, but I'm not sure, but the art garden down there by the public library on Warrenville Road had something to do with that. Is that
Oh, cool.
correct?
Okay.
All right, so there was some direction in that. And there was some discussion with making a trail and linking places like the Kirby Mill, and other areas. So I was in some of those workshops. I just, again, like Alessa says, I'm not sure where we are, but it looked like we did move forward with that art thing down there on Morinville Road.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great point. I've noticed that. Okay, great. Well, I don't want we have only about 35 minutes left, and while I think we've said some really invaluable, important things on the topic of arts, I want to make sure we cover other elements as well. It seems like maybe it's the promotion. I'm sorry, actually, that's not what I wanted here. I'm going to unhighlight that. I'm going to highlight this as our most important, and then this as our second most important. Okay, could we take a look at this at 6.3? It's kind of the longest, right? So Mansfield seeks to grow and diversify its economy to ensure it can provide high quality services to its residents, support its businesses, and work synergistically with the University of Connecticut to create a resilient economic ecosystem. So you have things here. I mean, there's a lot here, right? There's regional comprehensive economic development strategy updates. That's something that I believe is done in conjunction with Hartford. It's a Hartford and Tallinn County collaborative discussion and report that they've generated. Convene joint meetings of regional EDCs, identify target economic sectors, referral relationships, partnerships with nearby municipalities, regional food processing, support diverse food options and cultural businesses, promote Mansfield Opportunity Zone. There's a lot of stuff here. Work with dining, retain businesses graduating from UConn's technology incubation program, support development of summer activities. I think that's an interesting one. Collaborate with UConn to repurpose underutilized state-owned land, collaborate with UConn to augment visitor experiences. And we talked about that last week, of course. And then develop or designate a local tourism promotion organization, collaborate with nearby communities and the Connecticut Office of Tourism, brand an agricultural trail, make Mansfield a hub for outdoor recreation, and so on. Again, I mean, we can't, I mean, there's a lot here, and and many of these things are going to happen whether we're prioritizing them here or not. What we're trying to do is send some messaging out of the EDC about what we think is going to be, the most valuable sort of bang for the buck, the best return on investment in terms of time and focus. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, we're getting on the opportunity zone.
Yeah.
I believe that has an expiration date.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's coming up. I don't know how much you can promote it because
Right.
I know we were discussing some of that housing there down by Toast, between Toast and Standard on the Corners, where they're going to be able to even do that. But yeah, I would be looking at the expiration date and see if that's
So
something
that's
that
probably not something we would want to prioritize. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
that's a great point. Thank you for highlighting that. Are there other things that we could foresee being particularly important under this heading? I'm just scrolling through them kind of somewhat randomly here from top to bottom to allow you to.
Excuse me, I would say that maybe it's more fruitful to concentrate on C, because that's the one we can actually control ourselves. I feel like,
Yeah,
trying to do something with Yukon is always
Yeah.
fraught with different issues and often ends up in disappointment. And then collaborating with surrounding communities obviously gets touchy. And although ideally it sounds like a great idea, I'm not sure in practice how well it always goes. And if we have a limited amount of bandwidth, it seems like C is probably the
place
best
where
place to go.
we can actually have an impact.
Yeah.
Are any of these 4 subheadings more impactful in your estimation, Lane?
I don't know, but like 1 and 4,
Yeah.
both sound interesting to me and have sort of, I think, precedent.
Yeah.
On their
I
side.
I think I would lean towards 1 because it's more capacious. I think you can do more under that heading. In terms of, it captures more potential activities within the town than just promoting it as a site for outdoor recreation, which frankly
Yeah.
comes to an end for long chunks of the year when it's cold. Okay, that's great. So that's potentially a priority item. Looking at these others, I mean, is everyone in agreement that the EDC's messaging on A and B are
Hang on.
would be
Can
less
we go?
practical? Yeah.
We did a whole bunch on wayfinding signage not that long ago. So I actually am maybe not as, I'm not sure really exactly what 1 looks like.
Yeah.
Whereas 3 and 4 feel more concrete to me.
Okay.
So I'm not opposed to number 1. I just like,
Sure.
we have a lot of that in place.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fairly recently.
Yeah, it's true. And we've seen that kind of come to fruition. So maybe we shift our attention towards something else like the agricultural trail or the hub for outdoor recreation. Brian?
Yeah, number 3 is what I wanted to bring up. And UConn began as an agricultural school, and they still have a pretty decent natural resource and agriculture program.
Yeah, of course.
And they are actually have active, an active sugar house and a tapping business and other agricultural industries. The forestry department. That would be a good idea to kind of leak that into the trail. Their maple syrup operation, forestry operations, and their work. Make part of that.
Do you feel, Brian? I mean, you know the town extremely well, far better than I do. But do we feel like we have adequate resources to sustain and promote such a trail?
Well, yeah, I think so. The trail itself would probably not be contiguous.
Right.
That would be a problem. You're not going to be
Right.
able to link
Well,
everybody
no, of
up.
course. I mean,
But
it's a metaphor, but
you were mentioning Mountain Dairy, Stearns Farm, and
yeah.
we got Paul Ammer's operation down there. He does bedding plants in the springs, and you got Yukon,
Right.
who's heavily involved in that. I mean, I think that'd be an interest.
Okay.
I think it's something that could be done.
Nancy, Lane, Celessa, anyone care to?
I think a lot of this could be like put with the Connecticut Countryside website. They do a lot of this, but it's, up to us as a committee or up to us as a town to be putting those things on their bigger website that they're already paying for.
Right.
Right. And that people are already going to, and us putting it up on the Connecticut tourism website.
You're speaking.
So again, people know about these things. I mean, we can sit and say, oh yeah, we're gonna like make a map, but who's gonna, I mean, necessarily go to town of Mansfield
Yep.
to look for they're going to these other places to get their information.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and highlight both of these, and maybe we'll come back to them. Maybe we won't. Maybe we think these are both important and valuable ways to promote, the value of Mansfield. Just taking a quick look at these others though before we shift our attention. Do any of these, for me, I feel like uh, supporting the development of summer activities, kind of that sort of intersects with things like an agricultural trail, or the idea of doing of marketing Mansfield as a great place for outdoor recreation. If they fall for me under, they would both fall for me under this particular heading. Um, and so it seems to me as though like we could highlight this priority as the main priority, with subordinate priorities being the development of an agricultural trail, which is something that people would come to Mansfield to do in the summer, or they would come to do hiking, which is something that happens, more in the summer months than others. So I would like to see that kind of emphasized, again, partly because, just the way that the town really goes dormant, and that's such a stressor for so many local businesses during the summer. And then under the first heading, under A, collaborate with surrounding communities. I mean, I feel like these are maybe important, but not exactly high priority items. Does anyone? So why don't, would anyone object to my highlighting the supportive and development of summer activities along with those other two? And then when we kind of summarize this document, we'll sort of treat these as kind of connected to one another in some sense.
Makes sense.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So then going on to 6.2, Mansfield seeks to encourage an entrepreneurial environment that supports business formation, expansion, and retention. As not a business owner, I'd really love to hear from those of you who are business owners and feel like, okay, there are certain things that Mansfield needs to be doing for existing businesses.
I like the idea of a business park or industrial park. There was talk
Is that
sometime.
on here, or is that some particular?
Well, I think it would go with, scroll up, I think, where the entrepreneurial part was there.
I'm just wondering where we're seeing that.
I saw it somewhere.
Um,
Corner Connecticut, let's see.
Re-engaging now in order to discourage Trump from sending those Tomahawk missiles.
But it would support entrepreneurs. I think there was something on that.
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Display of military muscle at Nicholas doorstep.
I wonder if
You'd have
that's,
to work with the town on that too.
yeah, of course. I mean, there's the let me just see here. It might be under one.
The commander in charge of the mission, Admiral Alvin Hosley, abruptly stepped down. A surprise move less than a year.
Brian, could I ask you just to turn down your TV just a notch there? A lot of that's coming through for us.
Actually, I can mute myself. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. Thank you.
I'm sure you don't want to hear the news.
Yeah. Where is that point? Let's see. Oh, I can't find it. I'm not sure where exactly I would place that, Brian. The like a tech park. The tech park, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, either a tech park, industrial park, whatever. Many times I know many towns actually have industrial parks that the town buys the land and then leases out, and they creates incentives for small businesses to come in.
Right. Wonder if it's under here. I think it might be here. It might be this one. Collaborate with UConn to repurpose underutilized state-owned land such as the Depot campus for mixed use or research purposes, pursuing adaptive reuse and brownfield remediation where needed. But I don't think that's what you're talking about exactly. Or
Yeah,
is
I mean, you
that's
could collaborate with UConn on some items like that, but this would be a
right,
town
its own
initiative.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, then it sounds like what you're referring to is maybe just something that we should add to this document potentially.
yeah. If you don't mind, if you can find a
Yeah,
slot.
no, not that's completely fine. So let's add it here. Support the and I'll just leave it at that for now, and we can add language later to that effect. I think this is one that may be, worth considering. Encourage the creation of zoning rules and town ordinances that prioritize the redevelopment of existing developments over brand new developments. Um, it may seem somewhat minor, but I think that one of the things that we often, talk about here is that we have limits in terms of where housing can be built due to, wastewater and water supply issues. Um, the This particular point would open up the possibility of expanding the amount of housing and business capacity by more efficiently and smartly using our existing resources. So I kind of like that particular one, especially since we think about the, the what amounts frankly to a housing crisis in Mansfield, the inability of people to enter into the housing market here. So I don't know, that's one that I think is valuable. I think Steve has been interested in working on as well. Perhaps any of these others, I'm not sure if they stand out to you all.
I agree with you on refurbishing some of the housing, but I don't know if you saw the last article in the Hartford Courant about
I
the
didn't.
housing crisis for students.
Oh,
Well,
yes, I did see that. Yeah,
yeah, we have a lot of homeless students that aren't
it's a
housed. Yeah,
it's a
I guess
mess.
we oversubscribed the spots at the university, but
Yep.
yeah, I think we're really already in a crisis.
Yeah, and
That's not.
the ripple
Yeah,
effect of that
yeah,
is that ordinary people have literally nowhere to live in Mansfield.
yeah. And then if you're talking about refurbishing, Solomon Square, Carriage House and all that, the concern I would have is right now that's kind of lower income housing for the students, believe it or not.
Yep.
Carriage House and Solomon Square offer a better deal than the standard or the downtown. Um, I'm not sure if you improve it, whether or not it's going to increase the cost of rent, but that's a good idea
Yeah.
in itself.
Yeah.
I would leave it there, but we have to be careful on uh, how that affects, the cost of the housing that we
Yeah.
refurbish.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Lane, Nancy, Valessa, would you care to chime in on any of these points? I mean, I'm not committed to this one, and I think there's a lot here that's of value. Uh,
I think the zoning one is a good one, and it's something we can actually sort of affect, at least with
Yep.
with the few levers that we have to pull.
Yep. Yep. That's a great point. Also a great point. Yeah, I mean, the achievability is I think really important. Some of these larger, more abstract plans are just they're just not, you can't just do them. You can't, there's, yeah, so this is something that can actually be achieved, I think.
Just a little update,
Yeah.
the Mansfield on the Marks actually pulled their zoning permits and are gonna get started over there at North Eagleville Road.
Uh-huh.
I think 600 some odd bedrooms that they're talking about.
Yep.
Phase 1 and phase 2 is another 600 odd bedrooms. So that's gonna be
Will help.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Okay, well, let's go ahead and leave this for now, and then just turn our attention to the last cluster. Mansfield aims for balanced economic redevelopment efforts to make it an attractive location for businesses, workers, and residents. So, there's a lot here, right? So expand and periodically update the business and agriculture sections of the town website. Include articles and features from the town newsletter. Use me, basically a lot of promotional stuff. Buy local programs. Organizing events. I mean, that again, I think that dovetails with the agriculture trail and the outdoor recreation thing. Develop marketing materials showcasing Mansfield's amenities and services for use by local realtors. Then you have this group of kind of network creation. So you have, opportunities for businesses to connect, strengthening relationships with municipal and state resources, create new opportunities for farming. And then the final cluster has to do specifically with agriculture and forestry. So, I think, I can see many things here of value, which is the most important, which is certainly a priority. One thing that I think this is probably the wrong place to add it. I was looking for the right spot, but I was kind of thinking again, kind of along the same lines as I was just talking about. Oh, Valessa, I'm sorry. You go ahead. You go ahead, please. Much rather hear you than me.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, we talk a lot about like promoting individual businesses and new businesses, which is fantastic. I do like the idea of doing more just on buying local
Yeah.
generally. So that's, of all of these things, I think that's the one I am most interested in. On the housing stuff, I completely agree. It's relevant to economic development. It's super important. It's critical. It's a lot for the EDC to take on. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty hesitant to.
Well, remember, I mean, we're not necessarily here coming up with the priorities for the EDC. What we're coming up with here is a list of priorities of things that we think are the most important elements of economic development for the town. Remember, this is for the plan of conservation and development. And while the EDC is one of the entities that's, taking action on this, I think for the purposes of kind of, kind of communicating to the larger community, to the town manager, to the town council, to the zoning board, these are the things that we think have the most value in terms of future economic development. I don't I don't think
Yeah, that's
anyone on
fair.
this commission
Yeah.
is going to go out and have to fix the housing problem. I
No,
don't have
and there's a
time.
whole housing commission, but in
Right.
that of like as it pertains to economic development, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I can remove it. Like I said, I mean, I think it's implied in some ways that, housing is important, but I kind of feel like reiterating that point wherever we can is the best way to actually bring about some kind of solution to that problem, or at least an attempt to address it. I'll talk to Steve about whether this is appropriate here or not. Are there other elements of this section 6.1 that we might want to highlight? I wish Nancy was here. I want to know if this connection stuff is valuable.
I'm
Can
here.
can you speak to the value of this as a small, although not so small anymore, business owner? These like building networks and connecting people with one another and with municipal and state resources, is that kind of stuff valuable for you? I mean, are those the sorts of things that we should be putting some stress and energy and resources towards?
Yeah. I think if you scroll up,
Yes.
like that whole section on keep going. this number one,
Okay,
updating and providing assistance to people that
yeah,
want to come to town. That I
right.
think is very important.
So that's important. And
Um,
then I think, so that, I'll go ahead and highlight that. And then you mentioned, I think it
I mean,
was,
and promoting, businesses to connect with each other. To me, that's a really difficult one. I think the businesses that want to connect with each other, connect with each other.
yeah, right. The
You know
town
what I
can't really
mean?
do anything for that.
What as an EDC? I mean, yeah, you can have, you know, your get-togethers or,
Yep.
so you can meet other people, and those are great. And so, yes, and I have met plenty of people through those
Yeah,
that I can call on a dime. So that's nice. And people are going to participate that in those things if they want to
right.
participate and use that outreach.
Okay. So that
Others are
is
not going to.
right, exactly. So that is valuable to you,
I
but it
think
might
that's
not,
valuable.
be for everyone.
It's yeah.
Okay. Okay. I really agree. I mean, I like number one, and I think one thing that's kind of not said here, but that you actually said out loud there, Nancy, is that, this is just about like helping businesses to get started. And there really
Yeah.
isn't anything like that particular kind of language anywhere in this document. But I think that that's what this is meant to do. So maybe we just need to kind of emphasize that in the language here. It's not just
I think
promote
it's
local businesses, but facilitate the opening and conduct of business. Yeah.
yes. I
Okay.
agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, there was no when we opened, and I don't know other people in town, like when they opened, how difficult it was or how undifficult it was, but
Yeah.
there was no playbook.
Right. Right.
There was no, like, I'm waiting for, building to approve something, and,
Yeah.
I'm calling and they're like, oh yeah, well, we need, you know, architectural plans. And that was
You're like, oh,
never
it would have been
told
nice to know
me,
that. Right.
right? That would have been nice to know so that I can actually get a permit and have my
Yep.
contractors come in on this long weekend, right?
Yep. Yep.
Because, like, there was no, until I finally like went there and I was like, listen, like I'm a dumb blonde. I mean, like, I'm a woman, and I also have another job. Like, I'm just trying to navigate what we're supposed to be doing,
Yep.
what we
Yep.
need to do.
Well, say
And
no more. I mean, I think, I know that when I first joined this commission, there was discussion about doing a comprehensive revision of the business action plan that Steve had, I think, put together some years ago, but it had kind of fallen out of date. And it sounds like that's something that would be really helpful for business owners. So we'll definitely include that amongst our priorities.
yeah. And I think it's
Anything?
constantly changing too. So,
Yeah,
and it constantly needs to be updated.
updated.
And
Yeah, and I wonder if that point, makes a better, kind of helps us to make a case for this, which is expanding the economic development capacity of town staff by creating a dedicated position or contracting for these services, possibly in partnership with neighboring towns, to do exactly that work of updating that you're talking about, Nancy. I could see, I could imagine, for example, somebody that is contracted by Wyndham, Coventry, Mansfield, Tolland, and their sole job is to basically keep updating the businesses and business regulations and permitting process stuff. That seems to me like a really manageable thing and something that it sounds like would be really useful for a lot of different communities.
yeah, that might go hand in hand with the Connecticut countryside, because that's the 4 towns.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll make a note of that here. That too.
I mean, I think a lot of things that we're talking about right now, like, can go into a collaboration
Yep.
with
Yep.
the other towns, because
Okay.
we're all small towns. Like, let's you know?
Exactly.
Why are we
Exactly.
gonna exclude ourselves just as Mansfield or just as Towland or just as Coventry?
Yep.
Like, we want to be like inclusive.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that's a perfect way to do like sensible resource sharing of staff, you know, because that's a job that would be useful for everyone, but no one town needs a person to solely do that. There isn't enough to do.
Right.
Okay, well, I really like where this is now. I mean, so what I'd like to do is just, I'm gonna share this with Steve and kind of get his perspective, and then maybe we'll circle back to the EDC at our next meeting. And between now and then, if you have time to just quickly review, you know, I'll send out this highlighted version so that you can kind of look it over. And if there's anything you want to add, or if you feel like, hey, you know, I feel like we really should be prioritizing this other thing, we can certainly add it to our list. There's no fixed limit on how many things we can say are high priority or low priority. I kind of targeted 5. I think we have a few more than that, um, but I think this is a good start. And in any case, I think a valuable conversation that we've had here over this. So I'm just gonna save this document and then step back into the room here. We only have 5 minutes, but I feel like at least the first of these can be relatively quickly addressed. Steve was wondering whether the town of Mansfield, I'm sorry, Taste of Mansfield organization should continue to maintain its connection with the Economic Development Commission. He was of the opinion, and we didn't talk about it at length, that and I hope I don't misrepresent his view here. I know this is being recorded, so really we should get it straight from the source. But it was his opinion that perhaps the EDC doesn't have a lot to do with the Taste of Mansfield. In my mind, I think it does, and the Taste of Mansfield, you know, basically promotes and markets a number of agricultural producers in the area. It provides some public recognition for people who have been pioneers and leaders in the food vending, production, and consumption areas. So I do feel like it's an Economic Development Commission relevant entity, and I would personally, for one, like to continue our involvement, such as it is. It's fairly minor. We don't do a great deal of work aside from the Taste of Mansfield Champions Award. So I don't know if others have different opinions on that, but it doesn't seem to me to be causing a great deal of harm for us to be associated with it. It comes out of its affiliation is actually with a number of organizations, the Agricultural Committee, the Mansfield Downtown Partnership, several others, Health and Human Services, Mansfield Schools. I like having the EDC in that list personally.
I agree with you there. I just have a question.
Sure.
Whatever happened to the Connecticut Grown Initiative? Um, I I know that was on a state level, and then it was quite a few years back where, you know, that was heavily promoted, but uh, I haven't seen it, you know, and I think that sort
Yeah.
of thing would go hand in hand with Taste of Mansfield. Do you know where that is, Dwight?
I don't. I don't. Again, I mean, I'm sort of new to this business, so I can't answer that. I don't know if others here can. I will look
I'm
into
on
it.
all their lists. They're around.
Oh,
It just seems like you don't see the signs and all the promotion that you used to do. I just
Mhm.
wonder where they went. Thanks for.
I mean, I
so
think,
so
Brian,
yeah.
like, promotion takes money, and you know what I mean? Like, promotion takes money and or word of mouth.
yeah.
So
Well,
if
they
they
so
don't have that,
so the Connecticut Grown Initiative ran out of funding, is what you're saying, probably?
well, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I
Or
don't
just
know.
they just retrenched maybe to some degree, but it sounds like Valesa gets emails at least, so there's still an active and going concern in some capacity.
Definitely. Yeah. They're still doing some things, but I most of that is via email.
Do
They have
we,
like a physical catalog too.
Right.
yeah, do we work with them in any way, or?
I don't know, but I mean, I think that would, again, I'll look into it. I'll see where things stand. I'll see if I can find any information out about it.
Thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if barring objections to the contrary, I think we will continue to affiliate the EDC with the Taste of Mansfield. The final topic, the final subject of on the agenda, I don't know that we have a chance to talk about. And I do think is you know, a little bit bigger issue than might sort of at first appear. The question of whether we want to try to do a little bit more. Have slightly more aggressive efforts in getting the public to be aware of what happens in the EDC beyond, you know, just our, you know, our minutes being, you know, lodged in some website that nobody ever looks at. I don't know if that's something that you all want to maybe just give some consideration to in advance of our next meeting. I feel like the work that we do here is interesting and important, and a lot of people might be interested in at least sharing their perspectives and experiences, but I don't think they know that we exist. And so I'm intrigued in the possibility of getting the word out a little bit, maybe using some social media angles to just promote our existence and try to get some public comment in here one of these days. But we'll talk about that at the next meeting, along with this chapter 6 of the POCD. But thank you everyone for coming today. Kristen, did you just show up, or have I been missing you the whole time?
You missed her.
Yeah, I've been here for a little bit. That's okay.
I'm sorry. I had it sort of set up that I was sharing things and I wasn't able to see who was here. I don't know if you had any thoughts about the POCD, but we're going to kind of roll this over, I think, to the next meeting for confirmation of our findings.
That sounds great. And I'll make sure I comment before then. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for coming. Thanks to everyone for showing up tonight, for setting aside time for the town, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Good night.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, all.
Good night.
Thank you.
Right.
Kristen, if you're, oh, you're bowed out. Okay, sounds good. Good night, Nancy.